يمشي بها ولئن سألني لأعطينه ولئن استعاذني لأعذينه رواه البخاري. The problem with some of the nuskhas of books in Arabic in general is that they make mistakes in the sometimes always in the i'rab, which is the zay zabar pesh fatha dhamma kasra at the end of the word, but sometimes in the word itself, which is a real shame. So you can have, I won't mention the publishing house, but they'll make the book. One of our ustad, he used to say that the prettier the cover of the book, the more mistakes there'll be inside the book. So because it's sometimes they just pay the clerk, like it'd be a clerk in Egypt, that they'll give, like this is an Egyptian printing house, I'm pretty sure it is. And so what they'll do is they'll oh, this is Lebanon, okay, Beirut. So they'll just pay somebody and they'll be sat there sort of just typing away, and they won't have, so normally sometimes what happens, why I have this print is because this is one of the better prints, but there's just interesting side point about these nuskhas. How it'll work is this will be a makhtut. This here is a very light shara called Nuzhatul Muttaqeen or Riyadh al-Salihin. Riyadh al-Salihin is a book in hadith, and this is a commentary. So what will happen is that book will be in a makhtut, manuscript. जिसको हम makhtut कहते हैं, manuscript. तो क्या होता है कि I'm a bookseller, so I get this out of the makhtut, I give it to you, I pay you something meager, and so you don't really care about the job so much, and so it's sort of like sipping coffee, just typing away without any diqqah, and so there's mistakes. Sometimes there'll be entire words wrong. This is why studying Arabic grammar is so important, because you sort of look at it and you have to read it 2 or 3 times to realize there's a khalti here. And so sometimes I remember when we were doing one book with one of our, and now I do it, which is interesting. But I remember at that time I used to think, wow, how does Ustad do that? But it's, and he'd kind of he'd be sat there and he'd be listening and you'd be reading and he'd be like, because he knew the rules of grammar better. This is early as my first year sort of thing. And he'd be like, oh, no, this is wrong. And he'd be like, oh, it's just wrong. He'd be like, but Ustad, it's written there. Like, no, it's wrong. And then he'd be like, go get the old nuskha. And she'd get the old Pakistani, the long, handwritten ones. And he'd be right. Of course he was right. So sometimes they do that. So you have to be careful with Arabic books sometimes. So that's why you look for tahqiq editions of books, where there's a tahqiq done. Tahqiq means what? Let's say I'm a muhaqqiq. What I do is I take 7 or 8 or however many there's available that I can get my hands on the manuscripts, and then I cross-check them to make sure that we got this one right. Like for example, the recent edition of the Ihya Ulumuddin of Imam al-Ghazali by Dar al-Minhaj, considered to be one of the better ones because there was a lot of tahqiq done on making sure that they get that right. And so sometimes you look for the muhaqqiq. Who is the muhaqqiq on this? Like who did the tahqiq? In some names, like I won't mention names, but as soon as you see the name, you say, no, I'm not buying that. Because that's just ujra. They just did that for money. Kitab Kadoji, and uski, sell it. And then there's some muhaqqiqun that they do it like out of love. Like for them they make sure ki is ibarat ki jo na. Obviously perfection is only for Allah Bari Ta'ala. Like when Imam al-Shafi'i, Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i, from the 4 Imams, one of the great Imams, radiyallahu an, when he wrote his Al-Umm, which is his work in fiqh, his Ar-Risala was in Usul al-Fiqh, and Al-Umm in fiqh. When he wrote this book, every time he read it, he'll find mistake. Then he'll go back, फिर आप दौरा करते किताब का अपना जो उनका मुअल्लफ उनकी जो तालीफ थी, फिर गलती, फिर तीसरी गलती, फिर चौथी गलती. Then in the end he just said, Al-Kamal, that Kamaliyat is only for the book of Allah. Bas. So then he left it. So there's that as well. But in any case, sometimes they have that. Now this is a very profound, very famous hadith where Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said, and this is a powerful hadith, especially this first bit, La ilaha illallah, where Allah Ta'ala says, this is a hadith Qudsi. Hadith Qudsi is when the Prophet narrates on behalf of Allah Ta'ala. कि जब हुजूर अल्लाह से रिवायत करते हैं उसको हम हदीस कुदसी कहते हैं. The Allah Ta'ala is saying now, अब Allah Ta'ala कलाम फरमा रहे हैं, मन आद ली वलियन फ़क़द आज़नतुहु बिल हर्ब. That anyone that opposes a wali of mine, a friend of mine, then I have done i'lan of harb, of jang with that person. La ilaha illallah. What a big thing. कि जिसने मेरे एक वली के साथ अदावत की, animosity, then I do i'lan of harb, of jang with that person. This in an age of social media, la ilaha illallah, it's crazy, the sort of things that people say. I had a little altercation with somebody recently. This is why I don't like social media much, but I did. Where a brother, Allah bless him, he's doing fine work in many areas when it comes to, arguments against Christianity and atheism and stuff like that. वो अच्छा काम कर रहा है, अगरचे वो हमारे मसलक का नहीं है, right? Isn't like he's not from the same, he's not Ash'ari Maturidi Sunni in that sense, right? They're more sort of, you could say more Salafi type of, but doing fine work, doing great work, yeah. And in that Doran, for no good reason, he would say there's good reason, he just began attacking the Ash'ari. अब जब मैं अशआरी कहता हूँ ना, अशआरी मातुरीदी, इसका मतलब होता है सुन्नी. ये अहले सुन्नत वल जमात के दो बड़े गिरोह हैं जो 1000 साल इनका नाम रखा गया है. ये आज का नहीं है. दिस इज नॉट लाइक बरेलवी और समथिंग लाइक दैट. ये बाद की जो है ना, हमारे सब कॉन्टिनेंट में एक वी हैव दिस नेम, लेकिन असल में लाइक दिस पर्सन बरेलवी, ये बरेलवी है, ये दियोबंदी है, ये फलान है, ये फलान है. नहीं, ये तो बहुत बाद की बात है, in the subcontinent. ये असल में जो अहले सुन्नत के अलकाब है ना, जो इनके नाम हैं, उनके नामों में से ये नाम नहीं है. These are madrasas that came about later. The asl names were Ash'ari and Maturidi. तो जो उमूमी तौर पे जो शाफ़िई थे, शाफ़िई, हमारे 4 मज़हब फ़िक़्ह के, हनफी, शाफ़िई, मालिकी, हम्बली, तो जो शाफ़िई मालिकी थे, they were Ash'aris normally. और जो मातुरीदीज़ हैं ना, वो हनफी होते हैं. So if you're Hanafi, you are most likely to be Maturidi, whether you know it or not. Yeah, that would have been the creed that you would have imbibed if you studied it. So these are just names. Basically, a Sunni Aqidah, yaar. Sunni Aqidah. No need to complicate it with names, but these names are there. So he began to attack them, but in a very, अगर कोई आदमी इल्मी गुफ्तगू करे और तनकीज़ करे, no problem. No problem, yaar. Islam is strong because we recognize debate. हम इस चीज़ को जो है ना, हम पसंद फरमाते हैं. Why? चूँकि हमारा दीन इसलिए मजबूत है, कवी है कि हम मुनाजरे भी कर सकते हैं, मुबाहसा भी कर सकते हैं. We can have मुकालमा. You have an इख्तिलाफ in a masala, yalla, namshi, let's go, sit down, you bring your dalail, I bring my dalail. जिसकी गुफ्तगू ज़्यादा मुदल्लल होगी, उसी की बात कबूल करेंगे. इसीलिए हमारा दीन कवी रहा है, survived. So academic इख्तिलाफ, no problem, let's have it. Yeah, follow the evidence. But this was how do I say? It was istihza. Yeah, I don't know how to say it in English, but it was like, it was being comical and it was taking the mick, basically, right? I don't know. There's another word that's not coming to my mind, but it was not being respectful. It was being disrespectful and so I got very upset about that. And then in the end, we ended up going into a private conversation off social media, just because I think, people realize that this is like it's not nice to have this conversation. And the point that I made was this here. That I said that, look, when you attack the Ash'ari, you don't just attack this random name. If somebody was to say, Ma'adallah, I'm just saying this, if somebody said, all the Ash'ari don't understand a thing, right? And I was to say mockingly, that was the word I was looking for. If I was to mock that, who am I mocking? I'm mocking Ghazali, I'm mocking Razi, I'm mocking Taftazani, I'm mocking Sanusi, I'm mocking Ibn Farouk, I'm knocking Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari himself, Baqilani, I'm knocking I'm knocking all of the ulama of the Farangi Mahal, all of them, all of the ulama of the Ottomans, that were broadly within the Ash'ari school, even though they had their Sufi influences, right? But like, they are all generally Ash'ira. So all of these great awliyaullah, huge names, all Ash'ira, Maturidis. So that means I'm now mocking Mullah Ali Qari, mocking Al-Kamal ibn Humam, mocking Ibn Kamal Pasha, mocking all of the Ibn Baha'uddin Ar-Rumi, all of these great imams of the Ottomans and the subcontinent. I'm mocking Data Sab, Na'uz Billah. I'm mocking Mu'inuddin Hajmeri, Chishti. I'm mocking Fariduddin Ganshakar. Why? Because they were all Hanafi Maturidis. You see, the problem when you make a joke, so you think that you're just having a bit of a laugh at the expense of, but you don't realize that what you're saying could be attacking major awliya. So that, anyone says, and then not just that, and this is Allah Ta'ala give me tawfiq, I don't claim to have mastered this by any stretch. But sometimes you don't know who a wali is. So this is why, when you do something wrong here, aapse koi ghalti ho jati hai. It's easier कि आप फौरन जाके ना आप माफ़ी मांगे कि यार मुझसे ये गलती हो गई है etc. आप माफ़ कर दें. Why? चूँकि I don't know वो आदमी जो आगे है वो कौन है. शायद मैं उसको देख रहा हूँ कि ये नॉर्मल आदमी है, पर यार मुझे क्या पता, maybe Allah Ta'ala accepted that person. अगर वो अल्लाह ताला के औलिया में से शुमार अगर हो जाए तो मैंने उसके साथ कोई ऐसी हरकत की तो फिर मेरा अशर क्या होगा. आज़नतु बिल हर्ब. So why do I want that? So I don't know. And so sometimes this is a very dangerous game, which is where you just think, yeah, I'll say what I want, do what I want. You have those people. They sort of are what I call in the modern, in quote unquote modern masculinity, right? Which is this idea that I dominate everybody and I just shout louder than everybody and I just, in that age, right? How many you may have attacked so many awliya. There's a guy going around right now who is attacking Imam Abu Hanifa. Can you imagine? Imam Abu Hanifa. Like, yaar ke dimag chal raha hai suna. Imam Abu Hanifa, that's where you've got to now. So, and it was nasty things, right? And I thought to myself, man adali waliyan faqad adhantu bil harb. And I remember watching there's another guy, he said, I read the books of Al-Ghazali. He was attacking the Ash'ira. I read the books of Al-Ghazali for 1 year. Just Al-Ghazali, I'm a master of Al-Ghazali. And I thought, yaar, you can't even get through all of the books of Ghazali in a year, let alone to say that you've mastered Ghazali in a year, right? And he said, and he was attacking him. And I thought, yaar, isna ashar theek na usi. Isna ashar theek na usi. Right? For what he's done. And if I could tell you the things that happened to that man subsequently, what happened to that man, to the point that once he was in a munadara, a debate where they did mubahala. I don't know if you know what mubahala is, which is basically where you do la'an, where you say, agar main theek hu, to aap pe lanat, agar main ghalt hu, to mere te lanat, Allah di lanat. This is in the Quran, in the mubahala, you can do it. And I remember, and he did that on a mas'ala that was so clear. And firstly, you shouldn't do it for something like that, And he does it all the time. And I thought, yaar, out of the 20, 30 times that you've done it, even if you got it wrong once, and there's a probability there. So it's like you're putting yourself into that circumstance. I remember, there's another sheikh, a very famous sheikh, considered to be Shair of Ahl Sunnat. Yeah? We love that, innit? We love that. Shair Ahl Sunnat. I love it. Right? Maybe one day I'll earn the title of Shair Ahl Sunnat. Astaghfirullah. Allah Ta'ala make us from the ghulaman of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Ameen. And crowned. He was crowned. They literally put a crown on his head, And he was the authority of what it meant to be a Sunni. the authority, the go-to person. You wouldn't do. It was like what the Salafi Madkhalis do with Shaykh Rabi'. It was like he was your mi'yar. You test people with him. If they like him, then they're Sunni. If they don't like him, they're not Sunni. He was like that kind of authority. He made takfir of Sunni ulama though. He made takfir of not just any Sunni ulama, but awliya. Like ma'roof awliyaullah. And I won't say more detail on the mic. Like ma'roof, famous, important, unique Sufi, Sunni awliyaullah. And he made takfir of them. Takfir. Not just that he can ilmi tanqeez ala ra's wal ayn, no problem. That I believe strengthens our deen. But takfir is different. Takfir is different. He made takfir of them. And I remember then, and this is over a decade ago, I remember then saying, something's going to go wrong for him. Because you can't make takfir of people like this and things stay right for you. And now he's fallen into so many problems where at least on 2 accounts or 3 accounts, he's explicitly disrespected Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ. He's completely been thrown out of the Sunni maslak by normative Sunnis. And he is definitely showing signs of rift, of tashayyu'. He's got these problems now with this. But it was, and I remember, and it's not just, he has an opinion. Ilmi opinions, no problem. You can have those. But this is different. This is when you start to disrespect people. It's dangerous. And I remember thinking to myself, look, this is Allah protect all of us. By the way, I'm not happy about this situation. I make dua, Ya Allah, protect me and bring them back. Bring them back. Ya Allah, unko aap wapas le aaye. Aur hamari bhi jo hai na, hame apne hifz o aman mein rakhe, aman mein rakhe. Because the sirat is like that. You have to be very careful. So we say, Ya Allah, please don't. Our hearts, Rasulullah said, are between the 2 fingers of Ar-Rahman, majazan, metaphorically. 2 fingers of the most merciful. Meaning what? Allah Ta'ala can flip your heart like that. So I don't know. How do I know where I'm going to go in the akhirah? I only have hope. I have hope. Ya akram al-khalqi mali man aludhu bihi siwak. This is what we sing that. We hope that we benefit from the shafa'ah of Rasulullah, that Allah has mercy upon us. Otherwise, sara apna kuch nahi. Ta asa evi dua mangne ki Ya Allah Pak, jehde sare mashayikh se inaki to wapas ano. Bring them back. We don't want to lose people. But it went wrong. And so when you open that door of this attacking the ulama, the awliya, he is very dangerous. But look, it wasn't like the Prophet didn't tell you that. Man aadali waliyan faqad adhantu bil harb. And then war with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not a joke. So there's lots of people, sometimes, you see people. I remember one brother, so much opportunity, has so much to give. Yeah, it's like blocked. There are countless tulab al-ilm. I know of tulab al-ilm, again, may Allah Ta'ala protect us, who put all the hard work in, studied, etc., amounted huge libraries, and then over time started to give them away, until I was sat in one person's study. He actually taught Dars Nizami. Check this out, right? And I was in year 2, Dars Nizami, and he had a nuskha. We were studying a particular book in Usul Fiqh. He had the last nuskha, the last copy, and he gave it to me like this. And he said, I've got no more Arabic books in my library. No more Arabic books. देखिए जो तालिब इल्म होता है, the first thing he learns is Arabic language, ताकि वो अरबी पढ़ सके, right? And he gave his book away. And I said, but look, you've got no. And he goes, yaar, these books have become so hard for me. एक किताब मेरे तो इतनी औखी हो गया कि मैं वैकलम भी छोड़ देता. 10 years Dars Nizami, you studied 10 years, and then after that you taught it for a number of years. And then look at the end, what happened to it. And I'm not saying that some of them become Sufiya and then Khalwat, and fine, that's different. But this is not that. And I remember I was talking to one of the Mashayikh and I said that, why does this happen sometimes? He goes, sometimes what happens is Lokanu takka lag jana. Sometimes their teachers make bad dua for them because of some be'adbi that they do. Sometimes their walidain do bad dua to them because of some adab, they do they lack adab or something. Sometimes they did be'adbi of a Mubarak place. Sometimes they did be'adbi of somebody in the past. And it's interesting because I remember I was talking to him once, and he said to me, look, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, I make tawbah. I don't want to talk about these things, but sometimes I think that, when Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Muawiyah, they had their war, that why, if only Hazrat Ali had just taken out the Khawarij, there would have been no masla. And I thought, are you doing tanqeez upon Sayyidina Ali? Like, aap Hazrat Ali ke upar tanqeez karenge aap? And he goes, nahi, it's not that, but kabhi kabhi main sochta hu, phir main tawbah karta hu ki ya Allah. So you don't know what you said, what you did. You don't know what you said, what you did. So all you could do is make dua, Ya Allah, protect me from uttering something that does ghustaki or tawheen of someone that is beloved to you. Or a place that's beloved to you. A place that's beloved to you. Koi pata nahi. This is one of the reasons why one of our mashayikh, he would say, when you go to Medina Sharif, he said, don't complain about anything. He goes, agar tuti na chala, ta chup. Agar everything theek chup. Haan. I'm not saying that you don't go back to the guy that sold you the package and say to him, you sold me X and you gave me X. That's be'adli, isn't it? But when you, in Medina Sharif, no shikayat. Don't complain about the makki. Allah Ta'ala forgive people. I've seen somebody and I was warning them. They were shooing away a makki. And I said, don't shoo away the makki. It's a makki of Medina. It's a fly of Medina. Like, if the fly of Medina sits on you, take the barak from it. That's not any makki, it's a Madani makki. And it's true. It's true. Look at our Buzurg. Ala Hazrat, when he walked into Medina Sharif and the thorn went into his foot, what did he do? He wrote a whole poem about it. And he took out the thorn, he said, oh thorn of Medina, what do you have with my feet? Your place is in my eyes. He didn't poke it into his eye. But what's he trying to say? Don't, are sar ka mauka hai, jaane wale. What does he say? When you go to Medina, he's talking to his feet. And he goes, this is not your place to walk. This is where you walk on your head. This is the sort of takreem because of the adab. Imam Malik. Why is Imam Malik? He wrote his Muwatta, his famous book in hadith. The first book in hadith, pretty much. And the students came to him and said, Huzur, many people have written Muwattas. Horan vi likhiyan Muwattas. Fulane vi unna vi likhi. Imam Sahib said, Rahmatullah alayhi, he goes, whichever Muwattas were written for Allah, they will stand the test of time. And all of the other ones will go away. And look, till this day, we only know one Muwatta. Only one Muwatta Imam Malik. No, I'm not judging other people, but I'm just saying. Like we talk, Hanafis, we have Quduri Sharif, we call it. Quduri Sharif is not one of the best books in fiqh, by the way. Quduri Sharif se bahut better kitab hai. Lekin Allah ne is kitab ko aisi qabuliyat di hai, even though there's tasheehat of it, where scholars wrote commentaries to correct it, yet that book will be taught. They won't teach another book. Why? Imam Quduri, when he wrote the book, he took it to the Kaaba and he tied it to the Kaaba and then he begged Allah, Allah accept my book. Allah put qabuliyat in the hearts of people. Now everybody, they'll be dealing with Quduri. Why? Everybody wants to study that book. Qabuliyat. So this is the first part of the hadith. The second part is very beautiful about وَمَا تَقَرَّبَ إِلَيَّ عَبْدِي. That Allah said, nothing that you do, that my slave does, is more beloved to me than what I made fard upon them. कि सबसे अफजल जो चीज़ है ना, वो फराइज़ है. कि जो मैंने आपके ऊपर फर्ज किया है, अगर आप उसके ऊपर अमल करेंगे, तो ahab, most beloved to me. And this is why Rasulullah said, the afdal mafru, the best farz after the 5 namaz, the faraiz is what? Is halal income. Amal. I don't know if people know that. It's amal. People don't think that, do they? They sort of look at that as just all dunyadari. Yet the Prophet said, no. Actually, amal is one of the greatest fard after the fara'id. So now what's fard upon you, whatever it is, your responsibilities in life. Responsibilities to your parents, to your children, to your wives, to your siblings, to your communities. Doing that is more beloved to Allah than anything else. I'll give you an example here. Khidmat. Somebody does A, Mr. A does khidmat of Mr. B. which this is something Allah tells you to look after each other. That would be better for him than for him to spend the entire night in ibadat, only serving himself. Isn't it? Much better. Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, from his murabbiyin, from the people that gave tarbiyat to him, is who? Atish Bazwali. Who's Atish Bazwali? Atish Baz was the cook, Langari. He was Maulana Rum, his father Burhanuddin, that was his Langari in the Khanqa. And he used to give tarbiyat to the darwesh, in the Khanqa. And the one that gave tarbiyat to Maulana Rum, along with Maulana Rum's father, is Atish Bazwali. And he has his own story, Atish Bazwali. Langari. Barakat in the food. Why? Khidmat of people. This is why, and I'll end on this, I'll finish the translation, but I'll in fact finish the hadith tomorrow, but I'll translate it to finish, where Hazrat Zalummat, Pir Muhammad Karam Shah Al-Azhari Rahmatullah Alayhi, his wife, my Saiba, Rahmatullah Alayha, she used to cook at the early days, she used to make the langar for all of the tullab, just like Qibla Pizasam's wife, and I've mentioned this story before. My brother was a student in Jamil Karam when it was in Milton Keynes, and he used to say that we were like, whatever they were, 20, 25, young Jane, 16, 17-year-olds, and he goes to Asa, and twice every day, Auntie used to cook for all of them. Can you imagine that? Every single day. Every day. 7 days a week. Can you imagine that? How many people? You go home, say to their families that we're going to start Madrasa Darul, and you're cooking for this many students. How many rotiya wakta on it? Even if they were to eat 2 rotiya and 2 rotiya, that's 4 rotiya. You times 4 rotiya by 20, 25 people, how many rotiya you got? And then she's got her own 6 kids, by the way. Like, this is wilayat. This is wilayat. Shaykh Asrar, he said, I said to my students, you lot are awliya. I said, why? And he goes, you could be out there doing anything and you're here at the dars. You could be doing anything. In an age of scrolling, like you can easily kill a couple of hours doing that, right? Like there's so many things. And he goes, but you come here every day and you're in the durus and you're studying. And mashallah, he has produced ulama. He's like, you're awliya because you could be doing other things. I'm thinking, look at people like that, where you did all of that until this day. Auntie till this day, she will sleep in the girls' hostel. 6 nights in the week. Only 1 night she sleeps at home. 6 nights in the week, she'll sleep, and this is a lady that's in her 70s, will sleep in the girls' hostel just to, keep an eye, make sure everything is happening okay, etc. Till this day, when they were out for a cook for a couple of years, the vice principal, Mullah Bakhtiyar Sahib's eldest son, along with his mother and other family members, were cooking the food for the students. These things are wilayat. It's wilayat. That level of khidmat. That level of khidmat. So my sahib, Aziz Zalumat's wife, Rahmatullah alayha, they went to Pir Siyal, Shaykh al-Islam al-Muslimin, Qabruddin Siyalvi, Rahmatullah alayhi. That was the Shaykh. They went to him and she complained. She goes that you've given me wazaif to read, adhkar, and I don't get time because he's got me in the, langar khana, making all the food and then washing the students' clothes. And Aziz Zalumad used to put the toliya for the students when they used to come to eat. He used to put the toliya, the towel on his shoulder, and he used to pour the thingy to wash their hands and then give them the toliya to why? Because they're tullab al-ilm. Like, you're tullab al-ilm, the angels spread their wings for you. So he's their ustaz, and he's also because he understands the maqam of tullab al-ilm. The Prophet said, Man kharaja fi talab al-ilmi kana fi sabilillahi hatta yarji'. Anyone that sets out on the path of knowledge is on the path of God until they return. The mujahidun. So she's complaining, she said, oh, you've given me all these wazaif, I don't get a chance to do it because he's got me doing it. So Zuz Alamat Rahmatullah alayhi, he said, Wazur, tell her, कि जरिया नेकिया एक कमानी है और मैं दिया तो जरे नेकिया मैं कमाना दर्स देना मैं उसकी देना. And so Shaykh al-Islam Sahib said to her, Qabul hai? And she said, no, Qabul hai. She just wanted to, make a point, talking to the Shaykh. People do that with the Shaykh. They just want lad, pyar from their Shaykh, right? That's all it was. But even she understood, they all understood that Hazrat Al-Lum's built Darul Uloom, is teaching Bukhari. And he's saying, I'll swap all. You got to understand, there's over 120 branches today. You got tens of thousands of graduates from the Darul Uloom. Like the amount of work, Quran publication is the biggest in Pakistan. Like the amount of work that they've done. And Aziz Alumut Rahmatullah Alayhi is saying, tell her to give me the food for the langar khana, the neki, and I'll give him all of my nekiya. And that wasn't accepted. Why? Because khidmah. Even, of course, we know that he's in khidmah too. But khidmatul khalq is an amazing thing. And the awliya, they understood that. So again, this is the thing about this. And so Allah Ta'ala says, what I've made fard upon you. What I've made fard. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Believers are brothers. Believers are brothers. And this is why, especially in our time, if there was ever a time for a deep unity of Muslims, then this was it. Then the Prophet carries on, Allah Ta'ala carries on rather, about what happens through nawafil and how Allah Ta'ala becomes the eyes with which you see, etc. And we'll finish that hadith about firasa. Talk about the insight that Allah Ta'ala grants believers through their nawafil. So nothing is more mahboob to Allah than the fard. But if you want those openings, then it comes through the nawafil. The nawafil. So inshallah we can finish the hadith because we won't do it justice. Otherwise, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. I ask forgiveness, may Allah ta'ala forgive me for preaching what I don't practice. And Allah ta'ala give me tawfiq to practice upon it. And Allah ta'ala give you tawfiq to practice upon it. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for our shortcomings. And Allah ta'ala forgive us if we've ever in any way, intentionally or unintentionally, disrespected, dishonored one of your awliya, Ya Rabbal Alameen. We beg of your forgiveness for that, Ya Allah. We pray, Ya Rabbal Alameen, of your karam, your jude, that you forgive us, and anyone that we may have dishonored from your awliya, that they forgive us, Ya Rabbal Alameen, and that we come on the day of judgment with pure hearts, never having uttered an ill word or done an ill act towards anyone that is beloved to you, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Allah, we love your awliya for your sake, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, we love the prophets for your sake, Ya Rabbal Alameen. We love their families for your sake, Ya Rabbal Alameen. We love their Sahaba for your sake, Ya Rabbal Alameen. We love their nations for your sake, Ya Rabbal Alameen. We love the awliya of these nations for your sake, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Forgive us, Ya Rabbal Alameen, for any mistakes or any falling short in that regard, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Protect us from going astray, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. And Ya Rabbal Alameen, the awliya of Al-Quds al-Sharif, forgive us for our shortcomings towards them, Ya Rabbal Alameen. But we make dua for them, Ya Allah, that you give them strength, Ya Rabbal Alameen, that you protect them, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Rabbal Alameen, that you give them strength, Ya Rabbal Alameen, and you grant them victory, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akram al-Akramin. بجاه النبي الكريم طه وياسين وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا Muhammad. And Ya Allah, the brother who passed away today, Abdul Wahid, Ya Allah, we pray that you forgive the marhum of his sins, Ya Rabbal Alameen, and you make the manazil of the akhirah easy for him, Ya Rabbal Alameen, and you grant his family sabr jameel, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, out of your kindness and your gentleness and your mercy and your compassion, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallim wa barik. May your infinite peace and blessings forever shower upon our master, our imam, our guide, the light of our lives, the nur of our hearts, the beloved, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Sayyidina Muhammad, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ameen bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.